Amy, a koi fish incarnate, carried her own portable space. When she foresaw her father Jack about to frame her mother's family, leading to their exile, Amy immediately looted every treasure from the whole mansion, leaving not even the kitchen vegetables untouched. Not only that, she planted evidence of her scum dad's treason in the storeroom. Then, she declared her villainous father wanted to divorce her mother and disown them. She planned to drag Jack down with her. Once on the exile road, she'd show him what she thought of him. It turned out he had been reincarnated as Anne's daughter to repay her kindness. Moments earlier, he had suddenly seen an ominous black aura emanating from his mother. Immediately after, a vision of the scene 2 hours hence appeared, but Jack insisted he had always loved Laura. Had it not been for Anne's family's power and influence, he never would have married her. So Amy hurried to tell her mother this news. Unexpectedly, her mother refused to believe it, thinking he was imagining things. The very next moment, Jack brought news that her father-in-law had been imprisoned. He tricked Anne into quickly selling off her dowry to pay the ransom. Now Anne knew her daughter's words were true. Mother and daughter split up, one to gather the household treasures into the space, the other to sell the dowry. After reuniting, Anne placed most of the dowry into Amy's space, keeping only 500 taels to appease Jack. Once he received the money, Jack dropped all pretense. Just as Amy had foreseen, he tossed a letter of divorce at her to sever all ties with Anne's family. To save himself, he led the officials responsible for confiscating the estate to the storeroom, intending to bribe them with gold and treasures. But inside, only the evidence Amy had deliberately left behind remained. In the end, Jack and Laura were also exiled together. On the day of departure, Prince John, who had suffered the same false accusations, was pushed over, covered in wounds. The opportunistic soldiers immediately tried to shove him off the cart, claiming he was a prisoner who enjoyed better treatment than his own rank. They accused him of feigning injury, then whipped him with a leather strap, knocking John off the cart. Still unsatisfied, the officer lashed out again and couldn't bear to watch. She produced silver to settle matters for Prince John, and the soldiers finally ceased their harassment. Amy and her brother pushed over a homemade wheelchair. With the family's help, John's days in exile became much easier. Jack, standing nearby, harbored resentment, feeling Anne had money but wouldn't give him any. But Laura thought their days together were long, and that they'd get their comeuppance later. Come mealtime, the soldiers sold steamed buns at an exorbitant price of 50 cash each, and kindly bought one for John, fearing he might feel embarrassed. She reassured him he could repay her once his name was cleared. The moment their hands touched, both felt an inexplicable flutter. Laura witnessed this and sneered. "How low can you stoop?" She sneered, trying to curry favor with this cripple. But Laura's gloating was short-lived, and shot back with ruthless sharpness. Amy, meanwhile, cast a spell turning a stone into Laura's steamed bun, shattering a piece of her tooth on impact. Accustomed to arrogance, Laura immediately demanded compensation from the soldiers. Instead, she was sent packing, tail between her legs. To celebrate, Amy secretly pulled a plate of roasted chicken from her spatial pouch and shared it with her family. But the aroma drew Jack and Laura's attention. Jack was certain they were hiding silver in their bags and rushed over to snatch it. The commotion alerted the guards. Laura quickly stepped forward to accuse Anne of hoarding silver. Hearing about the money, the officers' eyes lit up as they snatched the bundle. But upon opening it, they found only clothes inside. Laura immediately incited them to search Annie's body. As the officers approached with lecherous eyes, Annie fought back desperately. Amy tried to help but was pushed to the ground. The prince nearby secretly knocked the officers down with pebbles, then pretended nothing happened and continued eating the roast chicken. The magistrate roared, "Who did this?" Amy seethed inwardly. "Dare bully my mother? You'll pay for this." She used magic to make Jack's money slip out, then shouted, "Magistrate, look! So many banknotes." The magistrate's eyes widened at the sight of the silver. Laura recognized it as her own money from the bundle and rushed to grab it back, but the magistrate pulled them both away, stuffing the wealth into his own pockets. In the end, Jack and Laura reaped what they sowed, their last coins seized by the officers. That night, the group sought shelter in a dilapidated house. Only those who paid could sleep inside. The rest froze in the courtyard. Annie, worried for her father and the wounded prince, chose to let them rest indoors, while she and the two children stayed outside alone. The three chatted and laughed, finding little misery in their plight. Unexpectedly, a pack of wild wolves stormed in that night and rushed to shield the children behind her. Inside, Laura and Jack heard the wolves and immediately barricaded the door. Moments later, they pushed the lame prince and grandfather out into the cold. Laura sneered, "Let the old, weak, and crippled wait to be torn to shreds by those savage beasts." She even laughed at the thought. Jack mocked Anne, "But you insisted on being the good guy. You dragged these kids into this mess. Don't blame me for being ruthless." As the wolves closed in, Amy summoned every ounce of strength to cast spells, killing some, yet more wolves kept arriving. Surrounding them, the prince tried to channel his inner energy, but his injuries hadn't healed enough. He failed. In the critical moment, Amy tapped into her latent power. With a mighty shout, she teleported everyone inside the house. Jack and Laura were swapped out. The two of them were still wondering how they'd ended up outside the room when they spotted the wolves and screamed in terror.